Okay, today we're going to work on the left-hand side of the wall. So we're going to start from the upper part and we'd go down and then we'll go around. Now I have here just the earth tones for now, and then we will add the greens after. I have raw umber, raw sienna, burnt sienna, Naples yellow, and titanium buff. And I'm just going to use one of these brushes because we're going to be creating texture in here for the walls. So we're going to layer our colors. Maybe also use a bit of glazing after. Let's start first. Let's start with the base color. We're going to take raw sienna, a bit of the raw umber as well, just kind of mix them together. We're going to start with the dark part up on the left upper side, and take a little bit of burnt sienna, put it in it to give it some kind of a warm. You want dark, you want a dark color, right there. So let's start, and it doesn't have to be exactly the same, of course. No, we have a base that is burnt umber, so that helps. And I'm just going to go across. And then eventually, slowly, I would move to burnt sienna. So this is what we have to do. We will have to be going back and forth. We'll have to use different colors in there. So it's not the same color all over. We will change color. Okay, let's get to here. I'm going to get some of the, now at this point, you can see in the reference, the more we go right, the more yellow we're going to see. So earthy yellow, which is kind of the raw sienna that we have. And then we start mixing that kind of put a bit of burnt umber in it, burnt sienna in it. So I'm using a flat brush, which is great. I can kind of not blend, but I don't want a heavy, strong brush stroke. Straight edge. Just need a bit of a softer edge in here. Okay, let's take again burnt raw sienna, mix it with a bit of burnt sienna. This is the first layer, so we are going to use a second layer with this. And again, doesn't have to be exactly the same. As long as we get kind of a beautiful patina here, we're fine. This patina is not going to happen if we, from the first layer. The whole idea is not to leave sharp edge.
If some of the background is showing through.
Pardon?
It's okay if the background is showing through a bit?
If it's okay if the background is?
Showing through the paint?
Yes, yes, of course. Yes. No problem. Also, this is the first layer, so we will need to add another kind of layer slowly. Now, getting to the left-hand side, the right-hand side, right here, I'm going to take raw sienna, and I'm going to add a bit of the Naples yellow in it. And also, like I mentioned before, we are going to be adding other colors in here. Something's happening out there, outside. You can hear the fire engines.
Oh, dear. Really?
Mm.
Ooh.
That's when we get to this part. Let's apply just kind of more of the raw sienna here, so we can put over it. We could put over the raw sienna other colors when it's dry. A little bit when I get to the bottom of this part. I'm going to stop in a minute. I'm just going to get at the bottom here. I'm going to put more of the raw umber with the raw sienna, just to darken a little bit this part, the bottom. All right, I'm going to pause for a minute and then we'll continue. Okay, now for the left part, left-hand side part of this painting, we're going to use, this is Viridian green and ultramarine violet, and the rest is the same. Just these two colors, we added these two colors. So I'm going to take Viridian with my brush, and for the first layer, I'm going to add a little bit of raw umber, a little bit, not much, and ultramarine violet and highlight this color a bit, because we're applying the first layer with titanium buff. With the corner of my brush, I'm taking titanium buff. And I'm just going to come here. Let's take a tiny bit of I like to start, I always like to start with a dark color. And then I can highlight underneath this way. I can highlight on top. This way I get a beautiful kind of layering. Okay, this is good, right? Okay, a little bit of titanium buff and more of the ultramarine violet. All of this is going to dry darker, but that's good. That's what I want. I want it to dry darker because eventually I'm going to highlight on top. And that creates a nice kind of depth. The wall will look like it has several layers of paint over instead of having it smooth and one color.
It's looking much greener than yours is.
It's okay.
Yours is looking blue.
It's all right. This is maybe what kind of viridian you're using? What's the make?
Liquitex.
Liquitex. Okay, that's fine. I mean, mine here on the. Let me see if I can maybe adjust the.
It's a very bright green.
Balance.
Really green.
Okay. Very bright green. Is that what you're getting?
Yeah, sort of almost a turquoisey color.
Okay, so did you add raw umber to it?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, okay, that's why.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm using the corner of my brush and just spreading the color softly. That will give me a kind of a dry brush technique over in certain areas. That will help with the layering. Now I'm adding a tiny bit, and I'll do this and then I'll stop. Tiny bit of Naples yellow, and to keep the Naples yellow, I'm adding the Naples yellow to the same mixture. So I'm going to take that and then I'm going to add on top of that Naples yellow a little bit of ultramarine violet. That will tone down the color. And the corner of my brush, can apply it in this area, corner of the brush. Then I'm going to take a bit of more of the purple, put it in that same mixture, and then again put the purple here. Apply this purple not purple. It's not just purple. It's purple mixed with this same color I'm using, which is the Viridian Green, Raw Umber, Ultramarine, Violet, and Naples Yellow. And I'm just adding a little bit more of the Ultramarine Violet, just to give this kind of interesting, beautiful patina. I take a little bit more of the Naples Yellow, and I'm pushing in more Viridian and Naples Yellow, less in the same mixture. I'm putting in Viridian and Naples Yellow, so it's a little bit more like on the green side. And I'm gonna come here, just gonna apply it with the corner of my brush. I am using a dry brush technique. I'm not dipping my brush in water. I mean, it's gonna ruin my brush, but that's the best way to get that kind of patina, weathered kind of look. Again, from time to time, I'm going to take a little bit of the ultramarine violet and put it in. Honestly, I don't think we need even to use a knife. If we keep doing this, it would be fine. I'm just applying one layer over another. And because I'm using the corner of the brush, I'm not putting on heavy paint. Now I will turn my brush around in a minute and apply the paint in a different way. So for now, this is a good layer. So this is softly building up our wall layers. Let's put a bit here. And then I'm gonna pause so we can all get to the same stage. Okay, I'm gonna pause for a minute. Okay, for this part, the right part now, I'm gonna be doing kind of painting the wall slowly. I will start with raw sienna right here, a bit of the Naples Yellow, and let's add this Viridian Green in there. So this kind of, the raw siennas giving me an earth tone kind of color. And the Naples yellow is making it brighter. And then Viridian is adding the green in there. And with the corner of my brush, again, I'm going to add this color. And I will eventually apply more colors slowly. Okay, so in between, I'm going to grab, like I did on the left-hand side, I'm going to grab a bit of ultramarine violet and put it in. Okay, this is good. Now, same again, I'm going to take a little bit of water. And at this point, I'm going to take, so what I'm doing is I have a batch of color here, which is raw sienna, Naples yellow, a bit of Naples yellow, because you want the raw sienna to be the more than the Naples yellow, and a touch of, with the corner of my brush, a touch of Viridian green. Now, same thing, same color. I'm gonna, in the same batch, I'm just gonna add touch of burnt sienna. And you see the color changes into a very kind of lovely, warm color. Now this is just burnt sienna by itself. Let's take, actually let's take green, put it in here. Burnt sienna and green. So all I'm doing is I'm playing with the color. I'm just adding different other colors in there. And I'll continue doing this slowly, and then I'll highlight more. Okay, there's more green now on this side. So I added more of the Viridian. Now I'm going to take a little bit of the burnt sienna again. See how I'm changing colors on the wall. A little umber, the corner here, make it darker. Clean my brush, it's really dry. Okay, let's take a little bit more of the green, put it in here. Again, raw sienna, Viridian, Naples yellow. And if I want this color, if I want to tone it down, I want to tone down the raw sienna with Viridian, I can always add ultramarine violet. It will tone it down, but at the same time it stays clean. Okay, let's put more raw sienna. It's raw sienna. Stick. Ultramarine violet, touch, and touch of green. I'm just going to show you how you can kind of tone down this and make it more earthy by using just kind of a little bit of ultramarine violet. Yeah, it's good. Now I'm going to change a bit my brush direction, and instead of doing the up and down that I was doing like this, I'm going to take the same, but kind of more sideways. A little bit of burnt sienna, ultramarine violet, Naples yellow, and again, let's go with the corner of my brush, not corner, sorry, flat brush, just go up, create a texture. Change your combination of color. It doesn't have to be always the same, but if you see more yellow, less green, then use just yellow. I mean, meaning raw sienna mixed with burnt umber, with Naples yellow, and also kind of a touch of the ultramarine violet to tone it down so it's not too, it doesn't look too strong. Too light. Sorry, I mean too light. Okay, take here more of the red. I like the red kind of burnt sienna in there. And again, we are not trying to copy exactly what's happening there. We're doing our own version of this lovely wall. Let's take some of this, and that's burnt sienna. Put it here because I'm seeing more of the burnt sienna in there. And the more I go to this part, the darker it's going to go. So I'm adding raw umber. Now raw umber and burnt sienna with this really dark corner in there. But although it is very dark, I like to see a bit of red in there too. So that's why I'm adding burnt sienna. Okay. Now what I'm doing, if you're, at this point, is kind of adjusting a bit my brush stroke. So if I see that the brush stroke is a bit too heavy, or there's like a definite line and I don't want to see it there, define a line that's kind of too defined, then this is what I'm going to be doing right now, is just kind of get rid of that and adjust my brush stroke. Okay, good. All right, let's take this kind of yellowish earthy tone and apply some of it here, because you don't want one corner to look green, one side green, one side yellow. You want to kind of introduce a bit of that yellow or warm color in the cool green, even if it's just kind of like a glaze. This is dry brush. It's just kind of, and all of a sudden that connects this part with this part right there. So we are using green in here, and then we will use a little bit more. But with the green over here, it needed some kind of warm color as well. Okay. Just gonna pause a bit and then we'll come back. All right, so now, for this stage, we're going to put more texture on this wall. Now we can do it with a knife, but I would, if I'm going to do a knife, use a knife, I want this to be very soft, not a heavy knife technique. So I'll show you both, and we'll do that, and then we can soften. So I'm taking raw sienna, Naples yellow, and ultramarine violet to tone it down, and take a touch of green, viridian. Yeah, that's good. Let's see this. Okay. See, I find that sometimes, not sometimes, always, a knife has a very kind of heavy. It's beautiful. I love it. It's good. But you have to be careful because it's heavy. It's kind of not, it's defined, a little bit more defined. That's what I want to say, which is fine. Sometimes we want that definition. It's not a bad thing. Gonna put some green in here. Naples yellow. Some green. Viridian in there. And of course, this is very light and bright. We don't want that. We're going to tone it down. And I'm going to take, now to tone it down, some purple. This is raw sienna now. Sorry, it's off camera. Raw sienna with a bit of burnt umber. Let's take this, put it in here, mix all these colors together. I'm trying not to get the upper part looking too light. I'm taking, when it looks too light, then I take raw umber and I push it in. Now introduce again the brush. And then again, kind of blend a bit certain areas here. We don't want the wall texture. I mean, it is the focal point, or kind of like the focal point, but you don't want it to be overwhelming. Let's blend a bit some of this texture. I'm just adjusting whatever I find that the texture is too strong. But I kind of like it. It's even, I mean, it's nice if it's a bit strong. Let's leave this to dry. We don't want to work it too much. I'm just adding a bit of burnt sienna, adjusting here and there the colors. I like the burnt sienna feel or look up here, up on top. It's nice and very warm. Now I'm taking raw sienna, ultramarine violet, touch of Naples yellow, touch, very small amount. Okay, and then I'm gonna come here, take give a bit of texture or a different color over here above the window. Okay, that's good. This looks a bit too, here, let's tone it down a bit. All right, now the last thing I'm going to do is add, not last thing, I'm going to add now tiny bit of more of the viridian with ultramarine violet, touch of Naples yellow, Let's add a tiny bit more of the viridian. Ah, that's too light. Let's darken it a bit. Now I'm going to take ultramarine violet, raw sienna, and let's take a touch of the raw umber, and it's the same thing. Dry brush. I'm gonna come here. Same thing. I'm trying to do the same on the other side, but I'm putting more green in it. So it's just kind of a little bit more green in here to show the shadow.
So that's Viridian and
Yeah,
raw?
raw umber and viridian on this side.
Okay. And then what was the other side? Sorry.
Oh, this one here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's raw umber and raw sienna with ultramarine violet. But you see that's kind of like you can see right now. This is really kind of opaque, and it shouldn't be opaque. I went. I wasn't. I should have waited a bit, but I put in the color, the dark shadow color, before the background was dry. It should have the texture in the background should have been. I should have waited for it to dry and then apply the shadow as a glaze, not the way I applied it in a minute in before. Here, I'm gonna do that again. Let's get some more raw sienna. Shadows are not opaque, they're transparent. So if there's a texture on the wall, you should be able to see the texture, but darker. Let's put this back on a bit. And then I'll wait. This time I'm gonna wait. See what happens when you're impatient. Okay. I'll put it back in a minute. I'll put back the shadow on in a minute. And also this part. All right, I'm gonna go back and just wait for it to dry a bit, and then I'll glaze. I'm just gonna for now pause and then, okay. Now I'm going to highlight this wall a bit and soften the strong texture. We don't need this much texture there. So I'm going to use raw sienna, Naples yellow, titanium buff, and I'm going to introduce a tiny bit of green in that. Kind of the raw sienna will take care of the viridian, so viridian doesn't look too bright. And I'm going to come here and then just kind of go over and kind of soften the texture. You know, we don't want too much heavy texture everywhere. You need some parts of this wall that will look kind of smooth. So I'm kind of trying to figure out or trying to soften some areas where I see it's a bit too much. But at the same time, adding different kind of colors in there. So I'm introducing more of the raw sienna now. That's better. Okay. So at least at this point, when I do this, the texture will look nicer because it's not everywhere. There are certain areas where you see texture and other areas where the wall is soft. It's fine. It's not, otherwise it's too busy. You see texture everywhere. And the texture will lose the meaning. Okay. A little bit of titanium buff on the corner of my brush. My brush has other colors on it. So I'm just going to come here, introduce a tiny bit of that titanium buff. And the reason I'm doing this just gives it a bit of a sparkle. So your eye is attracted to this area. It's not all the same value. You have kind of a bit of very soft texture. Let's take this, put it here. Because I think when I was looking at it, I think I'm finding this part a little bit too dark. So I'm highlighting part of it and I'm leaving next to the shutter a band of dark color, which will work as shadow. So I really don't have to put a shadow in there. So what I'm doing is I'm highlighting the wall next to it to give the illusion of a shadow of the shutter on the wall. Sorry, I have to turn it around this way. Okay, good. Again, a little bit of green. So I'm highlighting the green at the bottom a bit. Green with Naples yellow and some raw sienna. Okay, now last thing we're going to do is I'm going to take raw umber, a little bit of raw sienna, and it's really dark in there, in here, which is nice because it makes the stone in this area look higher than the wall. It's not stuck to the wall. Again, I apologize. I have to turn it around this way. We will see this dark part that I'm adding right now once we highlight the stone. Right now, we don't, can't see anything. But what I want to do is I don't want a harsh line. So I'm going to soften this shadow in here. That's better. All right, we don't want to overwork it. That's enough. Let's just kind of soften this edge. Okay, it's good enough. Enough for today. Right, so we're done for today. We did a lot of texture on the walls. And next week we will start working on the shutters.